Hey, this is Ron Cooker. Good to be with you again. I'm owner and broker of the Cooker Company, Lampasas, Texas. I found a topic that I'd really like to share with you all because I think it's very important, and I think a lot of agents, new agents especially, maybe have problems with this form, and it's called the Addendum for Sale of Other Property by a Buyer. So essentially, I'm going to say I'm representing a seller and I'm presented with a contract, and on it there's a contingency for a sale of another property by a buyer. What are the pitfalls that could happen to a seller in a situation like that? Basically, it's got about 5 parts to it. The first part describes the property they're selling and the time period that they're wanting the contingency to last to, which is usually the closing date of the property they're selling. It's usually 60 days, 90 days, could be longer. The next part, it talks about how long of notification that you need to give this buyer if you agree to this contract when you get a second offer, an acceptable second offer. And that offer needs to be actually executed with earnest money put in the title company just like the first one for it to be effective. If that happens, then you notify this first buyer who has the contingency that they have X amount of days that's filled in on this form to either do one of two things: remove their contingency, which then proceeds with their contract, doesn't change dates, still extends out to the time period they wanted, but it does remove the contingency, so they are at risk of losing their earnest money at that time. The second option is they can choose to terminate their first contract and let the second contract take over. If they waive their contingency, then there's a place here for them to be able to put up additional earnest money. Some will do it and some won't. So the pitfall is that who really controls this offer? And if you really look at it, it's not you, the seller, it's not the buyer, it's the buyer of the buyer's property. It's that person that's going to buy that other property that this sale is contingent upon. You got to understand, that's the one that's really in control, not your buyer and not you at that time. You want to be sure, if you agree to sign a contingency, that you're not tying your property up for 30, 40, 50, 60, 90 days and then have no end game. And the last thing I want to mention is be sure and get enough earnest money to make it worth their while. If they have to drop their contingency and then they don't close, they have to forfeit their earnest money. So you want it to be an amount large enough to make it worth your while. Because again, if you're holding it off the market for 60 to 90 days, I would suggest you would want at least 60 to 90 days worth of what your costs are on the house: payment, taxes, insurance, so forth. Keep a good eye on that. If you have questions, always make sure you're a listing agent and you go over it to understand it. So Ron Cooker here again. Thanks. Have a great day.